Hi and welcome everyone. Welcome to today's little chat about spiritual hygiene and about entity attachments and about how important it is for us to every day acquire this knowledge and this practice of why it is crucial at this time to keep our energy fields clean and to work continuously with our bodies, all of our bodies. That means our mental, emotional, spiritual bodies, to make sure that we are not having open holes in our auric field or anywhere where energetic beings outside of this tangible physical world, for they to come in and siphon off our life force. So I have been intensely trained to recognize and to understand what these energies are all about, what lower frequency vibrational beings are all about. And these can be small vortices that kind of just, we were having them all over our fields and in our bodies. It's like an parasitic, vampire-like energy that does not belong to this physical world, but they are often in the astral planes. But without going too much into what they are, it's just a matter of acknowledging and educating ourselves on, just like we take showers every day and we brush our teeth every day and we make sure that our house is clean and we change our sheets every now and then. We also need to be aware of what is going on in and around us that we cannot touch and feel in the same way as we feel physical matter. And this is why it is important to practice our energetic sensibility, that we become more attuned to everything that is happening with our being that is not really tangible. Well, it is tangible, but more on an emotional, energetic plane. So I was trained by my direct connection with Source and through my guides and my higher levels for many years, specifically in narcissistic energy exchange, where I would typically be the empath who engaged in different kinds of relationships, with everything from, family, friends, relationships, school, like anywhere I would go, I would attract this kind of energy because it was necessary for me in this lifetime to be very educated and trained in this specific kind of energy. Because this planet is subdued, and especially now that we're kind of heading towards the big shift in consciousness, so all the energies that have siphoned off this kind of energy, because parasites, as we know, and they cannot live on their own source, right? So if you don't have a source connection, you require to harvest that energy, that food, that nourishment from somewhere outside of yourself. And so this is how the planet has been programmed. It was not how it was designed to be, but it is how it has worked, and it has been the architecture for eons of time. So let's just say that the owners, off-planet owners of this planet, the ones that are ruling this planet, they have a different preference for food than what we would say comes from source alignment. So parasitic energy or narcissistic harvesters, they feed themselves on different food nourishment than what we would be on the positive side of the spectrum. They do not feed themselves on peace and love and joy and harmony and balance. They feed themselves on fear and separation, jealousy, hatred, all kinds of emotions that are of a low frequency. They're quite sophisticated intelligence. They know how to find these different food sources, and they usually work through human beings. And so if you have no knowledge about how these energetic dynamics work, you could easily become a host for this kind of energy. So what I want to share with you guys today is the spiritual hygiene. Why it is incredibly important to every day do practices, become more and more aware of your sovereignty, your power as a creator being, your integrity, your authenticity, your energetic field and your body, that you are in full alignment with source energy, with what is rooted in the light. And so the more you are able to let go of needs and desires, the more you are in your integrity. So that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to have pleasure, that you're not allowed to nourish yourselves in different ways. It's about where it comes from. So if the source of your pleasure it's rooted in some sort of addiction, very often it is an energy attachment that is latching onto your energetic field, or it might even be inside your body, and it kind of drives you towards certain behaviors and choices and priorities. So this is not to take away the responsibility that we all have as human beings to create in a conscious, responsible way. So it's not like, oh, I just have an energy attached to me and he says that I have to go do that, and I need this and that. So it's not that at all. It's just to become aware that whenever your energetic field, your auric field, and your body is not strong in its integrity and source connection, you become a much easier target for these forces running you like a marionette, like you're kind of just doing their quest. And as I said, it's very sophisticated, so it's not like it's out in the open. No, this whole world is run in this specific way. So it's more like what you see is something completely different behind the scenes. So there's like a higher level that is kind of orchestrating everything, but they're playing you to play it out here on the earthly surface of things. So these astral beings, or these vortices of low frequent vibrations that feed themselves off of fear and separation and hatred and all of these low frequent vibrations, judgment, self-gratification, all of these emotions that we can feel do not uplift us, this is their food. So obviously they will go to any lengths and many different means to get to this source of food, like to harvest this energy through you. And so for many, many years, I was exposed to all these different kinds of energies, to recognize it, understand their place in this universe, to understand, because it's all God's creation. So even if they don't have the connection to source, they are allowed to be here in this free will zone. It's just a matter of navigating properly as humans. Just as, for example, when I came to Mexico, we were open conduits to receive parasites, because I've been trained in this energy in many different ways, in workspaces, in relationships and everything. But it also comes through food. It's in all areas of life. So, as I said, just be aware in your own environment, in your own life. Where can you sense, where can you feel and recognize this kind of energy that is siphoning off your life force, that is making you drawn to things that aren't necessarily for your highest good? And this is a long process. It's the biggest thing that we're doing on planet Earth right now. So be generous and gentle with yourself Be kind and compassionate with yourself and others. This is something that we all need to have a lot more education about. This is just a little drip that I'm giving you today. And there are several ways that you can help yourself cleanse your auric field, your body, and how you can kind of cut the cords with all of these entities that are possibly living off your life force. They live off your emotions and your mental concepts and programming. They feed off low frequent whatever you radiate out. So obviously they have had a buffet table which is always full in all kinds of different flavors for years and years and years. But the thing is, and this is a bit important, the light is taking hold on this planet, even if it doesn't look like that. And the reason why it doesn't look like that is because the light is getting stronger and stronger, and more people are getting conscious about these things. And so they're starting to turn off their sources, you know, so that these entities, they are not having free access to that nourishment anymore. And so they're becoming frustrated, they're becoming deeply in despair, because they can see that their the harvest that they would usually have free access to, it's getting less and less available. And since they don't have their own source, that means that it's the end of them. They are dying. They are losing their force and their power. So what I am observing now in my surroundings and in the world as a whole, collectively, all of these entities working through humans, and usually almost being at one with many humans, because, you know, these entities might even have latched onto people from very early in our childhood, when our fields are quite open, and, you know, through the teenage years, if there's alcohol or there's drugs or there's addictions of any kind, sexual addictions, that's like we have a completely open auric field, and all of these entities can go in anywhere, and they start attaching like to our chakras and to our physical body, or like they energetically latch onto us, and then it becomes we can get physical symptoms as well. So if you've had a lot of sexual partners and you've been out of your integrity of how you've given your life force to other people, these will be areas that you might look into to cleanse out and cut cords, make divine decrees, do meditations specifically to cleanse out all of these beings and these vortices. And my favorite go-to is always light language, because it's like the highest form of spiritual technology that I know of. And just playing my crystal balls, just listening to my own light language or that of someone else, as long as it comes from the right place. All types of sound healing that are of the highest, purest frequencies. These are tools to cleanse our auric field, to cleanse our body, and to start helping us understand that the mind needs to also become aware, so that if you take a shower and then you go right into the mud again, then you're completely, you know, you're dirty again. So obviously it also, this is a big part of it, that we have to understand how it got that way in the first place, so that we stop these kinds of behaviors and that we close all of these fields. Very often it's in the back, because that's where we're not aware, and it has to do with our past, and it has to do with ancestral lineages and trauma and woundings and stuff like that. That's where they go in. So that's where you want to be especially vigilant and aware. Yeah, so what I will do today in this part 2, I will add a light language transmission, which is specifically designed to cleanse your auric field, your different bodies, and to cut the cords, the agreements that you have at some point, for whatever reason, possibly unconscious to you, allowed these energies or these astral beings into your being, and to to give them food, basically. And also to stop them from coming back in, and to make you aware of what it is that you're doing that is opening up to allow them in. Because these entities, there is a universal law that you cannot violate, which has to do with your free will. But the free will is a little tricky, because very often we give permission without us knowing. So this transmission that I will give you now is both to help you reconstruct your brain, so that you more readily detect when something is out of alignment with your highest good, when something is siphoning off your life force, something or someone, very often someone, or a situation that you're in that is not for your highest good, and where you are leaking, where you're leaking energy to an energy outside of yourself that is not for your highest good. So I hope that you will enjoy that, and that it helps you a little bit along the way. And then there are also more tools on my website and on my YouTube, more light language transmissions, and also crystal balls are amazing for this. They radiate a frequency that is really just purifying your field, aligning you with source light, and repelling and dismantling, dissolving everything in your field that is not of the highest, purest frequencies of love, light, intelligence. So take a deep breath and go to part 2 of this transmission, where you will have an actual cleansing of your field. Thank you.